Hello, and well, I don't really want to call it episode 4. I want to just kind of jump in to what we're talking about today.
Welcome to today's podcast.
Welcome to this week's podcast, yeah. That's it. Welcome to this week's episode of Dead by Podcast, the Dead by Daylight podcast, so you don't have to.
That's right, you don't have to. And,
There's a reference to another YouTube show.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good everything.
Like the enthusiasm.
And welcome to... That's really strong. What kind of coffee is that? It's not instant, is it?
No. We've got two things to talk about today, really. And I haven't made a plan or anything, because I think this is going to spark enough discussion. Because as we mentioned, as we're getting set up, we have very, very differing views on the new killer. I think he's rubbish, you think he's whatever you think he is. We haven't actually talked about it yet.
I think he's a work in progress.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the main thing, right? He's a work in progress. So, go on, what do you think of him? In one paragraph.
My initial kind of opinion of him was very underwhelming, based on the fact that the devs didn't seem to be bothered about it. They were just like, oh, the PTB's today.
Yeah.
There it is. There's no big announcement about it, even though I thought that this was going to be like linking a few things together. Because there's no map, is there, with him?
No map.
No.
There's no map.
Well, I haven't really looked into the lore of it. I'll tell you why, because I haven't. I tried playing as him on the PTB. It took 7 minutes before I switched off and couldn't be bothered because I couldn't find a game.
Yeah, queues are an hour longer right now on the PTB.
There's no point.
Because everyone wants to play the new killer.
So what I've done...
the new Survivor is just a new model with 3 terrible perks, so...
The killer?
The Survivor.
No, I think... I can't remember most of the perks, but I remember one of them, the healing one, for 14%. I think that could be really handy.
What's that? It's a speed increase, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So I'll give my view on the Blight. I'm annoyed, I think, because there's nothing wrong. He's fine as a killer. If I didn't care about Dead by Daylight, and I was given the roster of killers, and the Blight was there, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Not, oh, that's really cool. What a cool idea. Just, okay, that is a killer that exists. And the thing that annoys me is loud motorbikes in the distance. The thing that annoys me is that there are so many really... I mean, just you know, we spent 20 minutes spitballing ideas for Pennywise, and we came up with a really cool killer idea. And Behaviour, who are in charge, and they have infinite free reign to come up with these mechanics and implement them, and what they decided was an M1 killer with a speed ability, and that's it. Nothing special, nothing else.
Yeah, but...
he bashes into things, and then that brings up his speed.
But
it's
what
not even...
what have killer mains, and what have we all been talking about recently? It's the lack of map pressure in some killers, and the amount of time it takes for a gen to be done on the opposite side of the map and the killer just to get across.
Right,
That's
but then you already have killers that counter that, like Billy. Oh wait, no, they nerfed Billy.
Yeah.
But now cynically, I'm thinking maybe they nerf Billy so people would be more excited about, so they can make way for this new killer with there being less. Because you'd be like, well, yeah, he can get across the map fast. So can Billy. Oh no, but Billy overheats.
I don't know. I feel as though he's a really good idea because he doesn't play like any other killer in the game. Like, what other killer does that?
Yeah,
like, so I think he has something like a 20 meter. I don't know the exact things. Basically, my findings have come from watching other people play him because I haven't had the opportunity to.
No, me neither.
But what I've watched like a bunch of different streamers and YouTubers do it, so I'm trying to bring my own opinion together based on a bunch of different people rather than just one person. Otherwise, I'll just say watch that video.
Yeah.
It looks as though he runs for about 20 seconds, but he can't attack. You have to bump into something. So the idea is that you need to get a good angle, turn, and then go. He's very, very fast. He's faster than any other killer. Obviously, you can take away Nurse because Nurse is like... but he's faster than any other killer. The thing that really lets him down so far that I've found is that you just keep bumping into stuff. Things that aren't there.
So that True Talent clip where he was bouncing back and forth in a small section on the preschool map.
Well, I saw he was trying to go up the stairs in the shack and kept bumping into every stair.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's another issue. So this is another issue with the game. I talk about it all the time, is clipping. Games like CSGO have updates where they just update staircase and make a staircase nice and smooth. Because this is stuff that, you know, big companies need to care about. Dead by Daylight, the clipping in Dead by Daylight is horrendous. You can be caught out by slight bits of logs sticking out of a wall. Because they haven't added a clip brush. So a clip brush determines collisions as a smooth square, which is much more satisfying for user experience, user gameplay. Dead by Daylight doesn't do that. The collisions are pixel by pixel to the model of the object, which is garbage, which is rubbish. And then you've got a killer like this,
who relies basically on that.
Yeah.
There's a few things where you go, oh, I've got found a gap here, and it's like, no, boom. It's like, what the hell? I wasn't even next to that. The other thing as well, apart from the hitbox of bumping into stuff, is he, as far as I'm aware, he doesn't turn very well when he's in it. So a survivor can easily just go, they move out of the way, and you can't do anything. That's basically the only thing that I think he'd be a really good killer. I don't know what the add-ons are. I haven't looked into them. Maybe steering is one of them.
I think one of them makes you speed up as you bump into things. So you can
that's going to be more difficult to control.
No, but you can pinball between things to build up speed. I want to also draw a comparison to another game, which is Overwatch, because people, at least in my chat, people have been calling the Blight pinball.
Yeah,
and there is a hamster character in Overwatch that is essentially a hamster in a hamster ball. Completely different game, completely different style, tone, whatever, genre even. He rolls around between things, and I think he shoots forward and he bashes off things, bounces off them, and that's kind of similar. In his ball, yeah. And that's kind of similar to the Blight, right? I like this idea of having a killer that is a pinball killer that bashes between things to build up speed. Or even, another thing I was thinking about is even one that crouches and then jumps between walls. Like, how scary would that be running down a hallway?
That'd be great.
Instead, he just moves forward a bit, hits something. It's such an easy thing to do from a development standpoint. It's such an easy thing to do from a design standpoint. He doesn't look cool. His mechanics aren't cool. He hasn't even got a map. Like, what? And I know they've reworked a couple of the maps and made them look gorgeous, and the new maps look incredible. I'm so happy about it. New sound design, new generators.
That's a different team, isn't it? This is what I'm gathering is the point that they're not all together in a team. You've got like certain departments in this obviously are better at what they do than others, and that just doesn't work very well, because you go, oh, this is amazing, they've put all this effort into redoing the graphics, redoing the way you do generators, it looks amazing, and yet I still get stuck on that map when I run around the rock and I can't move.
The other thing to bear in mind is that this isn't like cosmetics. When they add cosmetics, people are like, you should fix the game issues, and it's like, well, they're different teams. They are different teams, but in order to do a map redesign, the development team has to be on board. Because there's going to be parts of the map that need to be programmed rather than just artwork, whereas cosmetics is just make a 3D model, I'm guessing, dump it on the store, make sure the animations look all fine, done. So you have to bear that in mind as well. But yeah, I just... There are so many super cool killer ideas, you know, that we've come up with several times that it's, you know, you can sit down for 10 minutes and come up with a better idea than the Blight. And I'm not saying
I still like the idea. I've also heard that this is a significantly weaker version of one they came up with for the same character. Right. So they've had to just keep redoing it, and this is a weaker version to bring into the PTB. So maybe they'll completely update it, and
I hope he gets completely reworked. He's completely inoffensive, to be clear. I'm not angry at the killer. I'm not angry. I'm not upset at the killer. The killer's fine. Like, mechanically interesting enough in terms of
I think it's really
chases.
Interesting.
But
I mean, imagine being a survivor, just being so scary, just seeing this guy jump into a thing and then just launch at you.
Yeah, and that's really... And he is cool, but... Well, no, he's not cool, that's the problem. He's fine. Like, he's fun. He's inoffensive. He's a Dead by Daylight killer. If he came out 4 years ago, if he was one of the launch killers, I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. He looks like a launch killer. He feels like a launch killer. Meanwhile, you've got Deathslinger. You've got, you know, they were like, right, okay, let's add a gun in first person mode. You've got Triangle Face, which, you know, all of these things. Let's add ranged but through walls, like over a short distance. Let's add these cages. It's like you've got these really interesting new mechanics.
And you've lost momentum with this killer.
Wait, it's a good one because speed.
Because of Harris, yeah. As fast as he is, the game's lost momentum. Basically, the Deathslinger is a really cool idea. I really like the Deathslinger. He's very cool. Yeah. He's fun to play.
Really interesting looking map.
Yeah, very, very cool.
I still remember when that came out. I think we were at football and that came out, and I was like, oh my goodness, look how cool this map looks.
I think that also introduced breakable walls
yes.
as well.
Which is another idea they came up with and then didn't really do anything with, and now that, you know, like 6 months later, they're finally making changes to it.
Bringing them into old maps now. They added a couple of breakable walls into the 2 graphic updated maps,
which I quite like about preschool, because it means that the preschool itself, by the end of the game, looks very, very different. It can play very, very different, because some of the main doors are now blocked off at the start of the game.
Yeah, what else? Yeah, that's true actually. So there's I noticed that. Yeah, that's a really good idea. And then the killer can then decide whether to use them or not.
Yeah. And as a survivor, you can't really see them until you get close, which I believe Windows Opportunity shows breakable walls, right? Maybe I'm wrong with that, because it shows all entities or something.
But would it show the walls that haven't been broken? Well, you can't get through them.
Exactly, but what I mean is, as a survivor, because of the way the walls are put in Bad and Preschool, some of those doors you can't see whether the door's open or not. Yeah, you can't see whether the door's open or not until you're about to go into the door. So for survivors, it adds a little bit of unpredictability to. And
the killer then adds a bit more strategy to go, do you know what? I'm going to push you towards that because you don't know if that's open or not.
Yeah, and then, I mean, Midwich is an example of a map where, you know, you have to make a decision at the start of the game. Am I going to break all the walls down now so that I've got more places to go, or am I going to try and trap survivors in to this section? There are 2 entrances to this big room with a single gen in it. Do I make it easier for myself to get to that gen, or do I make it harder for survivors to escape from that gen? Which is really cool, mechanically.
Again, it's the whole game's tactical, and that's another tactical thing they brought in.
But this is the thing, like putting it back to the Blight, I really feel like they're making a push in other directions. I feel like they got sloppy and lazy with the killer. And this makes you think, why?
I wonder whether they thought, shit, there's 3 months is coming up, we need a new killer, let's get on with it. But then they're going, but then at the same time, we really want to do this graphics update, because obviously people want it. So do you reckon they put half the effort into the killer to then do the graphics update?
There are, 40 survivors, 20 killers? What's the exact number? Something like 22 now, right?
I'm not sure, it's close to that.
Right. The fact is, there's a lot of killers and a lot of different survivors. Most people I know aren't T3 everything unless they've got 6,000 hours in the game. I stand by what I said before, which is, you know, all those guys that are working on all the resources, all the money you're putting into getting a new killer and a new survivor and a new map out, focus on other areas of the game. Just for 3 months, just for 1 3-month cycle. Mm-hmm. We can do without a new killer for 6 months. The game, I don't care. It doesn't change the game up. The fact that, like, Pyramid Head and Stranger Things, both of these massive IPs we got in the last 12 months, they release, the player numbers shoot up, and then almost immediately drop back down, because there are so many problems with the game that they really struggle to keep players on and to keep retention.
Do you think they know this, the devs? Then do you think they'll look and they'll go, my god, Pyramid? Because that was the thing, is it the 4th year anniversary, the whole thing was really good. It was almost well done with the event. And then bringing in such a cool killer, new mechanics, blah blah blah, building up to it with previous killers as well, getting better and better, and then it's so many people playing it. Then Silent Hill, that's such a classic game, brilliant. Well, Silent Hill's now in this, brilliant. Okay, we'll play this.
But actually, every single time it comes out, it's like Stranger Things update comes out. It's like, oh damn, this is now a Stranger Things game.
Yeah.
We can now have Nancy Wheeler running from Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
You know, bearing in mind, Nancy Wheeler was called Nancy Wheeler as a reference to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, really?
Because Nancy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why she was called Nancy. She was called Nancy to make you think, oh yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, because obviously it was set in the 80s.
Didn't even realise.
But do you know what I mean? Like, these crossovers happen. Now we can have Ash, we can have Steve Harrington being chased by Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
Like, these are really cool crossover things.
Yeah.
This is, like, in terms of marketing, this is crazy, the amount of stuff they could possibly do with it. But then they just kind of...
But they bring all these people in, and then people just come in and go, oh, this is amazing, then they drop off. And I wonder if they think...
And that's going to happen regardless of how good the game is. That's going to happen, to an extent.
Yeah, but is that what they're thinking? Going, well, that's just a normal thing that happens to games. Or do they go, no, this is because of this, we could have kept this certain amount of people because of this?
Well, my opinion is that they could probably have half the retention increase for the people that they lose. That makes no sense. If they have 1,000 people leave the game, I reckon they could probably get 500 of those to stay on if they just fix these issues that are core to the game.
Well, we know someone very close to us that really enjoyed the game, who then just got really fed up with the way it ran. He said it's the worst game. Quanko.
I was about to say, is this Matt? Yeah.
Yeah. And he just said it's just rubbish. He actually now plays. I know this is interesting, but he plays more Minecraft than Dead by Daylight, which to me is just ridiculous.
Why?
Because of how Minecraft is. Like, whereas Dead by Daylight's competitive, there's loads of different options you can do. Blah blah. Minecraft, obviously, it's a completely different game, so you can't really compare. But it just doesn't. To me, it doesn't. I can't understand it.
It's for
a game like Dead by Daylight with all of these historical killers in it. Different maps, different abilities, different.
It doesn't feel like that. It feels like it.
It is a tactical game. I had someone in my stream earlier, plug to the stream, Jackstalog E. Passed in my stream yesterday saying that he's never played the game before,
right?
But it looks scary. I'm not sure if I do it. I said, do you know what? And it actually made me realise, because it was a good question, and I just said it is. When you first play it, it's like, my God, this game is so scary, like so eerie. When you start getting through it, you continue panicking. You're like, oh my God, I'm on edge, blah blah.
Still makes you jump.
But then when you go further through and you get better at the game, I suppose with everything, you realise that it's such a tactical game that it's not scary anymore.
Well, it's not, in my mind, Dead by Daylight is not a horror game, it's an action game.
But it's a horror game at the beginning. When you first play it, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. But, once you've got kind of 200 hours in it, at least for me, I see it as an action game with a horror setting rather than a horror game.
I just see it as tactical. It's completely tactical. I choose my killers based on tactics and mind games. For example, Freddy and Ghostface are my mains. They're based solely off of mind games. And we're going into... I'm starting to get used to Pyramid Head as well at the moment. It takes a while to get used to him. To play, but when you get used to him, he's really good. But you just got to get used to the mind games and stuff like that. It's brilliant. It's all about tactics, mind games. It's brilliant. But then when you start the game, it is, again, like I say, it is. Well, yeah,
I from every time I hear the wailing bell, it reminds me of the first few times that I played Dead by Daylight and how terrified I was of the Wraith.
Now he's invisible. It's like, how is this fair?
I mean, now you see Wraith and it's like, that's funny. It's a joke.
But now you see Wraith and you go, right, I just need to get to a loop and I've got him.
To be fair though, if I see Wraith at red ranks, I start to panic. Because I'm like, oh my God, why is this person playing Wraith at red ranks? They must be good.
Trapper. Yeah. Same as Trapper. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, they must be good.
Yeah, when I see Spirit, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Oh man. We've had the Spirit discussion too many times now to bring it up again, but I just...
Yeah.
And this is one of the things, it's like... This is what I was going to say. I don't know whether or not the devs, and this might be me completely misspeaking and, being cynical of capitalism anyway, but I don't think the devs who look at the data are calling the shots. I think higher management is calling the shots, the shareholders are calling the shots. I think they're thinking, I can imagine the devs, Matteo, whoever, going in and saying, hey, we want 6 months, no new release, we just want 6 months to work on the game and fix up some bugs. And I can see higher management going... no, our money comes from selling killers.
Yeah.
You need a killer. You need a new killer every 3 months, which makes sense because they need to fund the game. But there is a disconnect between the art form and the commercial aspect of it. And I think with things like
Silent... the amount of people that are going to leave as stop playing it as well.
I mean, I don't think they care. The shareholders are probably thinking, we've got so much momentum. We've got Stranger Things came out.
Yeah.
Silent Hill came out. Frequently, this game is pushed to the top of Reddit. It's pushed to the top of the news articles for new media. Oh, there's a new Silent Hill game, kind of.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they want to keep pushing. And they're like, well, people just bought Silent Hill. If those people that are now into the game are going to buy our new killer... And I think that maybe creates a disconnect. It's completely hypothetical, just to be clear. I'm hypothesizing. This might not be it at all. It might not be it at all. They might just have had a cool idea for a new killer every 3 months. I would like to know what goes on behind the scenes and how these things come about.
Is this my water?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I would also like there to be another flagship killer. The Blight is not that. The Blight, this is... God's sake. Every time. The Blight is not a flagship update. And I feel like we haven't had a flagship update in a little while. Where big things change. Like, wow,
I just think of those people that didn't leave a week after playing Silent Hill, getting annoyed at the game, who went, do you know what? This is quite a good idea. Maybe they'll fix these things. Let's see what the next killer's like. And then the Blight comes out, and it's just like, forget it. Nah.
It's been like that. It's been like that month on month. Like, so I've been playing Dead by Daylight for a year and a half now, and it's always been like that. There've always been these massive issues in the game. There's always been endless things to talk about. they should fix this, they should fix this. And every now and then they make a slight move. I mean, it's been 6 months, right, since your hook hasn't entered your body properly. It's not fixed yet.
It doesn't make sense.
People are still getting stuck in rocks, even though it's been a month since that happened. Game-breaking bugs.
I know we're doing a podcast here, we need to talk about this, but you just saying that just suddenly just fills me with frustration and anger. Just going, this is so stupid. Getting so annoyed. Just look at this. Like, it's so frustrating.
It's the train...
You can laugh it off, but it happens too often.
Yeah. The train is on fire. And there are 2 split pathways. One of them goes under a waterfall that'll put out the fire. It's a weird metaphor, isn't it? The other one...
Is this a fire that water will... Because sometimes you put water on like a...
It's not an electrical fire. It's just... It's a coal fire. The coals caught fire.
The coals need extinguishing.
The coals need extinguishing. No, wait, but the coals was what pushes the train along. Oh, this metaphor doesn't work at all.
We have excess coals. The coals that are going to be used, they're going to put the coals in, they're now on fire. The ones that are in the train, pushing the train, are fine. But the whole train's going to blow. So
they need to get rid of the... This analogy doesn't work at all. No, the point is, I think there's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed. The Blight is, in my opinion, a boring killer. He's a work in progress. He hasn't got his own audio yet. He hasn't got his own music. Why release the PTB this early? Is it just to keep up with the cycle? They don't want to break out of the cycle. Why bother, honestly?
It's very rushed. It does seem that way.
Right. And he's fine.
He's a really good idea.
I'm not going to play him.
This goes back to what I said. It's a really good idea, but there's things you need to fix. And the main thing is, apart from all the sounds and all the stupid things like that, the Mori doesn't even make sense.
I haven't seen the Mori.
It's a good Mori. It's a really cool Mori. I won't spoil it for you. And this is where you put it in the corner.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
The Mori's really good.
Wow, that is cool.
Yeah,
wow,
it's a good one.
Interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
Wait for that bit.
Oh
no, that's just.
Gross.
That's gonna look so good. The Mori's good, but the sounds are off, and there's no the character doesn't move properly. Anyway, you'll see it anyway, and
these things better be fixed.
Well, they will.
Imagine they release him and he still hasn't got his own chase music.
Jesus Christ! Imagine that. Yeah, but the main things playing wise for me is his turning needs to be a lot more. I don't know what to say. He needs to turn more. Basically, you need to have more control over the turning. And the other thing is the hitbox needs to be so much smaller.
Yeah.
Like you run past something. Like there's a rock here. Just get it right. There's a rock here. He's here. Okay. Yeah, he'll go like this. In real life, if you go past a rock and you do that, even if you do that, you're like, oh, I just brushed past a rock. On I go. Do you know what I mean? But he'll go to here and it'll be like, boom. And then a couple of times people would shoot back off and he goes, boom, boom. And that's like 2 charges gone. And you've not moved anywhere. And you've not even touched anything, but you've gone near it. And of course, because the hitbox... It's gone, no, you've hit something.
These things need to be precise, they need to be ironed out before...
And let's not even talk about the Huntress hitboxes.
I've been playing Huntress a little bit recently, because I'm playing Killer a lot more. And,
of the shots... you play Huntress? Just throw it near them.
Yeah, some of the shots I pull off are... And I've got this little replay button set up, as you've seen, and every time I get a shot that I don't think's right, get on the replay, and it could be, really cool, it could be this much distance.
Yes,
and the blood spurts from here, and then they're down, it's like... Sometimes I don't even pick them up, or I do pick them up and I hook them and I say, I probably shouldn't have hooked them because that wasn't fair.
Probably once every 2 games on average, I will say the phrase, that didn't hit me, when I go down.
Well, for me, it's the same as Killer. Once every couple of games, I'll say, yeah, I didn't hit that. I didn't hit them then. Definitely didn't hit them then. Didn't make that.
Do you know what? There's a guy called Fungoose who's so positive about everything.
Once again, shouting out the small streamers, but go on.
Yeah, yeah. He's a medium streamer. He's got about 800 people. But he says something really good. He's like, even when he is Killer, or when he's against Killer and they get a hit that he doesn't think, he goes, oh, that's very generous. And I think that's quite a good way of saying it. It's very generous. Very generous. Yeah. And I like that, because it's a way of going, yeah, fair enough, we'll give you that, rather than going, that didn't it. Yeah. And you get annoyed or something generous. We'll take it. But it's quite a cool.
No, I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, hitboxes are ridiculous. And I can't believe they're not fixed. Doesn't make any sense.
It's another list of. We could write up a good long list of things that are broken, that haven't broken for a long time, that need to be fixed, that probably aren't ever going to get fixed.
Tell you what might get fixed though. Good segue back to the Blight. His perks.
I was going to say,
and by fixed, I mean fixed. Because
please don't change us. Please,
finally we get some powerful killer perks.
And the less said about the survivor perks, the better. But go on.
I couldn't tell you the 3 survivor. I couldn't tell you 2 of the survivor perks.
One of them allows you to see gens within 32 meters.
Okay, deja vu. Don't need that. That's for beginners.
But constantly on.
No one needs to do that. Just no one needs that. If you've played the game for, I don't know, let's be generous. Let's say 100 hours. If you played the game for 100 hours, you don't need that perk.
The worst thing about it is that when you first play the game, you don't buy the DLC. You know, I didn't buy any DLC till I had about 100 hours. The thing is, that perk is now locked behind a paid DLC character. You know.
No, it's not licensed, so you can use them for.
Okay,
for
sure,
shards.
but then that takes hundreds of hours,
yeah.
exactly. So it's locked behind a paid DLC character or something you need to grind for. The point is, by the time you get that character, that perk is already useless to you. Completely. If it was something, because Deja Vu is a perk that I think purposefully shows up in early Blood Webs when you first start playing, and I used to take Deja Vu with me.
Is just it's not anyone's teachable, is it?
No, it's totally free, totally open. And I think it shows up early on whichever first character you level on purpose. And it is, I have to admit, like my first 5 hours in the game, I took Deja Vu constantly. It was an essential perk for me. The moment I took it off, I was lost. So it's fine. The ability to see generators is absolutely fine as an idea. But when it's locked behind a paid DLC and it's not like no one's going to go, oh, I'm so excited, I'm going to buy Dead by Daylight because the Blight has come out for it. It's not like if it was Silent Hill, if it was Cheryl Mason, fair enough. It doesn't make sense that perk exists.
Yeah, but it's the Blight. When you say, just going back to what you said about I'm going to buy it for you won't buy it for that. Of course you won't. People are going to buy it for the licensed killers, which makes perfect sense. The Blight.
But the only people buying this DLC are going to be established Dead by Daylight players who don't need a perk that tells you where generators are.
But maybe, but what I'm talking about is the Blight as the killer.
Yeah.
So that's like I will get the Blight, of course I will, because I want to get every killer. I want to get good at every killer. But it's for someone who isn't new to the game, who goes, I want, because they are trying. I'll be honest, I'm trying to back them up a little bit now. They are trying to. Add more things to the game. They're trying to I don't think it's coincidence personally that this killer has very, very good map pressure, if not one of the best map pressures that you can have as a killer, based on the speed and the distance you can make. Because there's a little thing as well where if you bump into stuff and bump in, you don't have the recoil if you swing.
Right.
So you can just go boom and back. If you don't swing, then it goes like that and puts this thing in, and then it takes a while. So that map pressure is fantastic. We've been asking for that for ages.
Yeah.
He's very fast. They've put great killer perks and almost useless survivor perks. Again, everyone's saying it's a survivor-sided game. They've added really good killer perks, rubbish survivor perks.
Yeah, but
I feel as though they're trying to rectify something that. They're trying to get behind the fan base, because I think they're getting more and more stick every update, every patch, everything that they keep changing.
If they're intentionally trying to make bad survivor perks to make the killers more powerful, why don't they do perks like Adam's perks or like Detective Tap's perks that aren't great perks,
but they're fun.
That are fun? Exactly. Rather than perks that are useless and that you'll get and you'll be like, oh, that was a waste, but whatever, 15,000 blood points all in. Why not have interesting perks like Stakeout or like Deliverance or like Pebble, where it's like...
It's not called Pebble.
I know. Everyone calls it Pebble, yeah, Diversion. That actually are fun for survivors to play and make you think, actually, screw it, yeah, I'm gonna take Head On. It's not a great perk. It's useful in...
There's no point in having Head On.
1 in 100. Yeah. 1 in 100 cases you can pull off a good play with it. It's for fun.
Yeah.
So why not have fun perks rather than useless, boring perks that no one's gonna use?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. I just think that maybe they're trying to bring the killers back in, and I think it's a great idea. Yeah. I just think that they just rushed it. Why didn't they go, we're really building on a killer here, it's going to be an extra month, but I don't know, wait for big it up a bit more. Because the thing that annoyed me the most is that all of a sudden I log into I stream and people go PTB. I'm like, I don't know anything about that. They didn't make a big deal out of it.
I didn't even update. I wasn't
even put a proper
BTB
trailer in. They put a teaser thing in. Teaser's got nothing to do with the killer. And then they didn't even put a proper thing. And I remember when they used to do the killer, and then it'd be like, the Oni, his perks are da-da-da-da.
This is
survivors do this.
This
New survivor. Do you know what I mean? And that was like, oh, this is great. And then they showed some gameplay, and it's like, this is going to be brilliant. They didn't even do that.
This is the first time they've ever not done that.
That's why I'm thinking it's so rushed.
To be fair, it might be a case of me misremembering, and actually them only releasing that when the actual DLC comes out. But I don't think. No, because at the end of the trailer they would say, try it now on the PTB or whatever.
Yeah.
In fact, I know that's a fact, because I remember sitting on this sofa watching the dev live stream for 2 hours, or 1 hour, whatever it was, and then at the end, them revealing the trailer for Silent Hill, and they listed all the perks and everything.
That was one of the best streams I had. I absolutely loved it. We sat there, we watched the dev stream, or like together, and then we're like, oh my god! And I remember then when they were like, right, we're gonna do the trailer. Because let's just in. Okay, we can do the trailer, and we're like, oh yeah, brilliant! And it came through, and I was like, oh my god! I remember going, is that? And it was that's Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
I remember doing that. Nothing this time, and I think that already means that I have an opinion on the killer before I know anything about him.
Yeah.
Because they had that. It's as if they don't care.
No.
And that's what annoyed me.
And I was just thinking, you could say, oh, but you know, people are working from home. It's coronavirus time, whatever. So was Silent Hill. And I know Silent Hill was because I remember Polyester talking
plus
about.
They didn't do a proper stream. They did it like a pre-recorded.
Exactly. And it was all planned out. So there isn't really any excuse at this point. It's not, oh, well, it is a difficult time for everyone. So yeah, it was a difficult time before, but they still managed to pull it off.
And it's easier now because you can actually meet up and work together.
Yeah, things are, yeah.
And even if you didn't, you can do it like over Zoom, or you can do it online. Yeah. And
things have adapted to.
But I will say this: we were going to do a podcast a couple of weeks ago. About the state of the game at the moment, and I was ready to rant off. And I'll be honest, I really didn't enjoy Dead by Daylight.
I stopped playing it. That's when I started playing Minecraft, and every single stream I did for about 2 weeks was just Minecraft.
It was, yeah. Well,
I stopped doing videos. Like, it was just like.
And I couldn't put my finger on what it was. I remember going, this is just so much different. I don't know what it is, but this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
There's something about it. I'm not enjoying it. But they did a patch update or whatever it was, and then things started getting better. And I will say I'm really enjoying the game now. Yeah. Again, stupid bugs aside, of course.
Well, I think, you know, on that track, I want to talk about the Blight's perks first, but we do need to talk about crossplay. And I think we'll end this podcast on a high, because. No, we're going to praise him, but sorry, carry on.
Well, I was going to mention crossplay as well.
I just think we'll talk about that close to the end, I think, because it'd be nice to end on a positive note.
I'm not going to say anything about it. Yeah, that's fine. I feel as though it's a lot more enjoyable now. It's hard for me not to mention crossplay in terms of why it's so fun.
The main thing for me was MMR. MMR came out and it was rubbish.
We haven't mentioned MMR.
We haven't mentioned MMR.
No.
No.
MMR,
and that's come out between our last two podcasts and then turned off.
I was gonna, I think it annoyed me a lot that they brought that in. Basically, based on the fact that I don't think they were listening. We wanted the ranking to be sorted out. That's not how we wanted it to be sorted out. I'm trying to speak for a lot of people.
We wanted to stop being at rank 2 and being matched with ranked 16 killers.
Yes, and they were saying that we realised that you could be of the same rank and completely different abilities, which, makes sense. But I will tell you now, there is no way that a rank 1 a rank 20 is as good as a rank 1. That's not going to happen. I don't care if they're like, they couldn't have played it for a few months. Well, then they're going to be out of practice. Like, I don't understand it. All I was going to say is rank 1s and 2s should go together. Rank 3s and 4s should go together. Then it should be purple ranks together, green ranks, and then whatever, and so on. That's it. It's as simple as that. The fact that I was playing against rank 17 killers, I was playing in a team of solo, by the way, all 4 red ranks, myself included. Killer was rank 17. We all escaped. I came second on the leaderboard. I depicked. Why? Because I couldn't get enough altruism.
Nothing to do.
There was no chases. Yeah. There's nothing, and it was. That really, really wound me up, and I thought, well, there's no point. This is stupid. Yeah. I thought it was ridiculous. I'm so glad that they stopped it, but of course we don't know how long for because of crossplay coming in the day after that they stopped the MMR.
I think that the MMR problems could be solved by doing what literally every single other game does, which is 10 matches unranked play, right? 10 matches where you don't know what rank the people you're playing with are, you don't know what rank you are, and it positions you and it tries you out in different things. Every other game pulls this off, right?
I know.
Overwatch does it.
Rocket League.
Rocket League does it.
Yeah.
What other games do it? The point is, other games. The point is, other games do it, and Dead by Daylight should have done that. Instead, we have this vague promise.
Yeah.
Instead, we have this vague promise of, oh, we've been tracking it for a few months. It's fine. It's fine.
No.
But it clearly wasn't. It clearly wasn't fine. If it was fine, you wouldn't be getting matched. And I could play a solo match, at rank 4, and I would be being matched with, rank 18s and rank 19s, and it's like, with one perk, and that one perk would be self-care or urban evasion or something, and it's like...
I thought it was really, really poorly done. Really poorly done. And even though it's sort of like, well, you need to wait a few weeks and then it will balance out, because obviously everyone... So there's a theory going around that it started on 0, but then some people say it didn't, and then... either way, I don't want to come second on the leaderboard, escape against a killer and D-pip, because I couldn't have done any more.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Go back in and try and wind the killer up by going, come chase me so I can escape?
Yes, and that's exactly what I had to do. I got called out for this on stream.
Toxic.
And I was like,
could be cool.
Well, I ran up to a killer at the end of the game and started flicking my flashlight while he was chasing someone else. Yeah. So I wanted his attention. And people were like, oh, you're being toxic. It's like, no, I need to escape at least one chase, or I'm going to D-pip, even though I've done great this game.
Yeah.
Because just nothing's happened. I've just been gen jockey. I've got iridescent Lightbringer. I've got iridescent. The fact is, at red ranks, that's not enough.
I'd love to get them honestly, get the devs and have a chat with them and say, do you not see this?
Someone needs to have this hard-hitting interview with them where it's like...
But not having a go, being constructive and being like, this,
yeah, but
this,
not,
what, is
but
this
also,
okay?
But also not having a go, but also not just being like, oh yeah, we love the game, it's great, everything's fine. It needs to be a case of, what are you actually doing? Are you aware of these problems?
Yeah.
And I'm sure they are, and I'm sure they have a great reason, but they need to communicate that.
I see this thing on Twitter where there's a load of people giving them stick, and it's never that bad. It's also always like, oh, can you please fix this? Can you do this? Yeah. And then you always get the comment underneath that goes, don't worry, devs, ignore them, you're doing a great job, keep up the hard work. And that's not helpful at all. Yeah, I know what you're trying to do, but that's not helpful.
I think Dead by Daylight is a game with a lot of content creation, and they really push their creators through the Fog Whisperer system.
Which I think is a great idea.
People like Polyester are never going to criticise DBD. They might make a few small comments, but they're never gonna. They're never gonna do the same thing we've done now, which is just essentially have a moan for half an hour and really bring these issues up. Because they might lose.
So far.
Well, they might lose their Fog Whisperer status, right? That's the thing. I know True Talent does it.
This is why you shouldn't care.
Exactly. But I think because of the Fog Whisperer system, the big content creators that should be the ones saying, by the way, this is good. I mean, the moment True Talent starts to criticise the game, that's news. Because for most of these people, he
does criticise it a lot though.
He does, yeah.
But he's always positive with it. He's always like, instead of me getting really frustrated, going like, "There's no way that hit me," he just goes sort of like, "Fair enough." Like you can see he's annoyed, and it's like that doesn't make sense. But he's sort of like, "Yeah, sure." But he's like, "Sure."
But these are the things that I feel need to be addressed, and I think the bigger is it's not only us. The devs aren't going to watch this video. There need to be the big content creators need to bring this up, and I think we run the risk of even if we blow up, never getting Fog Whisperer in the same way Noob 3 is never getting Fog Whisperer because he hacked.
Yeah,
fair enough.
But then I don't know really. I feel as though surely the likes of True Talent, Oddstava are untouchable now. Surely they are, especially Oddstava. He's probably the biggest DVD streamer.
Oddstava probably is, yeah, and he does get annoyed, doesn't he?
He gets very annoyed, and he says, I remember him saying it in his stream about the MMR thing, and just saying this is just silly. Like there's no way. And I think the amount of times as well I've seen him, and I completely understand. He'll play against a survivor, and they'll go down and see DC, and he'll DC. He'll be like, it's no fun. There's no point.
Yeah. Well, obviously they've brought back in the 5-minute penalty now.
Well, that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's like.
Doesn't matter for streamers, you just chat for that time.
Yeah, it doesn't
Considering
matter.
how quick queue times are now.
Yeah. Although I remember that time Zubat Lel he must have been hacked because he came. I think he escaped through the hatch, and then he came back and there was a 5-minute ban, and he was like, "What's this for?" Because I'll just wait it out. I'll talk to chat. When it went down again, it went back up to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was fine after that. But that was weird. I know it's a bit of a tangent, but that's a bit weird.
No, yeah,
The hackers are an issue. Surely I know they've got anti-cheat, but surely there's a way to prevent hackers.
That hacking video of you where don't they fly up in the air?
Flew up in the air, yeah. If you haven't seen that, check out my YouTube channel montage. I don't know which one it is. We've only done 3 or 4.
Second one.
Is it? Yeah. There was a hacker in the game, and of course I'm going to expose him as much as possible to my 18 subscribers.
I had the same thing. I was chasing a Claudette. She was running, blipped out of existence.
Blip.
Blip, 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 blip.
And
I assume
and blip. Different ways that a dog drinks.
It's
Explain.
blip, it's blip, there's a blip, and which is blem. It's true. Anyway, I assumed that I'd lost them.
It's so good.
It's true. Yeah, I assumed that I lost them, and my chat pointed out, that was a hack, and someone clipped it. And they literally just vanished.
I don't think I've ever played or ever noticed that I've played against a hacker as killer.
One time.
That was Survivor. I was Survivor.
Oh, were you? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
That was weird. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Blight's perks, because time's getting on, and I feel we need to talk. We've still got a lot to talk about. Actually, let's talk about
an extra long podcast.
Let's talk about one of his perks in particular.
Hex Undying.
Yeah. And let's talk about Hex Undying and Devour Hope.
And Noed.
Sorry, and
Haunted
Noed.
Grounds.
And Haunted Grounds is what I meant to say, not Devour Hope.
Unfortunately, you can't really use all of those together because there's only 5 totems. So one of them is going to be Hex, Hex Undying. That's one of them. Okay, so these are your 5 totems. That's one gone with Undying. Haunted Grounds takes 2 up.
Yep.
Okay, so there's...
What's going to happen in that situation?
Well, that's the thing. If you have Noed, that takes 1 away. If you have Devour Hope, that takes 1 away.
Devour Hope wouldn't trigger.
But it would, because you can then start building up your things again.
Sorry, Noed wouldn't trigger.
Noed wouldn't trigger until the end game.
Yeah, but
then if Hex Undying is still there, that's the thing. If you've got 5, one's taken away from Hex Undying, and then Noed.
Well,
okay, you've got Noed then gets taken away.
The problem is
it then goes to another one.
The problem is
Noed then gets taken away.
What if Hex Undying gets taken out at some point in the game? That's the problem.
Yeah, but how many times have you gone through with Ruin and you haven't found it and you finish the game? It happens quite a lot.
It's true.
Because some of the totem spawns are...
I love my favourite gameplay loop in or perk that completely changes the gameplay is Devour Hope. Because the moment you realise they have Devour Hope, everything stops.
Yeah.
The whole game changes into a hunt. And the killer knows as well.
Which is great. I think it changes the game, and it's like the second half.
Yeah.
And suddenly a different team's on top. It's brilliant. But what I was going to say about totems, which I think is a really good idea, I think out of all the spawn points, I think that the killer before the game should choose where it goes. They should still have the same amount of spawn places, but the killer should choose, and that's it. And then it's down to him, or her. Sorry. Them.
No, I thoroughly agree. They won't do that because that require coding a new UI panel, and they're not very good at that.
How different will it be? You take your hex you take your hex perk, you choose which one it goes to.
And here's the thing: imagine you have Haunted Grounds, two, right, and you place them right next to each other.
Yeah, as close to each other as they can possibly be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah. What's going on today? Got a frog in my throat. I haven't had enough water. Yeah, the other thing is...
Just some water.
No, the other thing is, Hex Totems being random adds an element of chance to them. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
What, I'm just enjoying my water.
That's true.
Yeah.
You better not
enjoy it.
Yeah, the randomness of Hex Totems' usability, I think, is part of the design of Hex Totems. In that they could be really obvious spawns, they could be really good spawns, and I think that random chance that you take,
the RNG is just it can destroy.
Is all part of the game.
It can destroy the killer.
Yeah, but it's part of the strategy of using one of those totems that you think, well, I could do a full hex build, but
it's true because the hex totems tend to be the strongest in the game.
Well, exactly because the effects don't last.
So if it is a kind of a thing, it does make sense if you want to use a hex totem. If you want to use one of the strongest perks in the game, you run the risk of it being spotted by the survivor straight away. That's your choice if you want to use it. Yeah. I do understand that, but I think it just brings another tactical element, an amazing tactical element to the game if you could choose where it was. I
would really like that. That'd be really cool. Especially with Hex Undying. What are his other perks? There's a generator visibility one, like it's like surveillance one of those.
With the Hex Undying as well, you need to remember is that anyone within like 2 meters of it gets the aura gets shown.
Oh really?
Of any totem.
Any totem, including dog totems.
Yeah. Just any totem. I believe any totem. Anyone that's near.
2 meters isn't much. It's exclusively if they're working on it, isn't it?
If you're running round, sometimes there's a totem right next to a gen. If you're working on the gen, you get spotted.
But 2 meters is a very, very short distance.
It is, but do you know what the ones I'm talking about? The jungle gyms, where you've got the generator, and then there's a little hidden thing, and it's just there.
Yeah. It kind of
It's that changes things. It's like a much better Thrill of the Hunt, except you don't get the decrease in cleansing speed.
Why isn't that one of the abilities of a killer? To see survivors within the auras of... How cool would it be? Every totem is a hex totem. And you see the auras of survivors within hex totems by 16 meters.
You can, that's the thing.
Cool.
Hex Undying is really, really good. The other one that I remember, I'll probably remember the third in a sec, is the one where if you break a gen and it regresses, the next person that touches that screams. Their aura gets shown, not the aura, but it shows where they are with the scream, and they become exposed for a certain amount of time.
Oh, I didn't know they became exposed.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a big difference.
Probably 60 seconds, knowing the rest of them. I can't remember the exact, but it's probably 60 seconds.
I like that. I don't mind visibility ones like that. That's a cool gameplay one. It's fine.
It's powerful.
Whether or not it's for me, it's middling on paper.
Imagine running Ruin, and that happening. Exactly. Ruin, surveillance.
Well, no, you wouldn't use Ruin with it because you can't kick gens with Ruin.
I thought it was a regression generator, was it not? Or maybe...
I thought... I don't know, just because the way you described it then was when you kick it. If it is regressing, then yeah, that's crazy powerful.
Maybe it's when you kick it then.
Don't know.
Either way...
Yeah.
Imagine if it was with a Ruin.
And it's another map pressure one as well. It's another
and
map
he's got
pressure
amazing map pressure, remember
that? Which fits Blight well.
You could use that. You could use like a big terror radius, and it'll get people off the gens, and then they go back to it. Ruin, surveillance, they scream, everything. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That would work so well together. This is what I'm saying about... I don't know if that is exactly how it works, but that's what we're saying about the how strong the killer perks are. I can't remember the third one.
Me neither.
I kind of want to look it up. Oh my god, I didn't even realise this, but it's true. I saw Linny put a thing out saying the new killer is Scottish.
Yeah.
Something like no wonder his ability is to pump himself full of drugs or something.
Yeah.
I didn't realise he was Scottish, but it does say he's Scottish. Right, let's have a look.
Why can't we have like a Scottish stormy seaside map? How cool would that be?
So Blood Favour, I believe... Yeah. Okay, so after kicking... So Dragon's Grip. Okay. After kicking a generator. So yeah. For the next 30 seconds... The first survivor that interacts with it will scream, revealing their location for 4 seconds. So you get there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the aura.
Yeah.
Oh no, maybe it's just where they are.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's not clear. And becoming afflicted with the exposed status effect for 60 seconds.
60 seconds.
Yeah.
Beefy.
Dragon's Grip has a cooldown of 120, 100, or 80 seconds, depending on obviously.
Yeah.
So Blood Favour. This is the one I didn't know. When a survivor is hit with a basic attack, this is it. This is a really good one. This has never happened before. This is so creative. All pallets within a radius of 16 meters of your location are held in place by the entity for 15 seconds. And therefore cannot be pulled down by survivors. That is a good one as well. That is a cool one. That
means
they have to run to a different loop rather than... Because the amount of times you hit someone and people stay at the same loop.
Yeah.
Because the pallet's still there. It's like they can't do that anymore.
It reminds me of the Yui lifting up pallets one. It's another creative one where it's like...
Very creative one, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, did you see my Yui lifting the pallet up with in front of the spirit? The whole game, I was being chased by the spirit. Like the whole game being chased. The gens went right to the end of the game. I was Rancor as well. And at the end, I saw there was a pallet that was down. And I think they'd lost me. So I was like, I'm going to pull this up.
Yeah.
And then as it got to the top, I was like, no, she's getting closer. And then as I pushed it up, she came face from behind me. I turned and pulled the pallet on her and stunned her.
That's wonderful.
Unfortunately, then the final gen came and I was Rancor. I think I still escaped. No, I think I died that one actually.
Keep worried.
I don't think I was worried.
Everything's running out of battery, so let's end with a quick note about crossplay.
Oh yes.
Very good.
No perk game today?
No, not today.
Okay.
Not after we've been recording for 56 minutes. Also, I didn't prepare one because I knew this would be a long discussion.
Okay.
So.
I would just say that crossplay has completely changed the game. It's fixed the ranking system for me. Unfortunately, you do get that shift in ability between the consoles and the PC.
And chat feels very lonely at the end of the game.
Yeah, they need to introduce chat to consoles, 100%. There's no, I don't know.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll do it in the next update. I'm sure they'll do it in 4.2.
Yeah, I think they have to. But I think it's so good. We're playing with the same ranks. You're finding games like that.
Exactly. That's the main thing for me. Is the whole reason I barely play Killer is because if I'm streaming, I don't want to. Sometimes I don't want to chat for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or however long it takes. Now, I once again I get my build together, then I press ready.
Yeah, that's it.
Same as Survivor.
The only thing I don't like, I'm not sure if they've taken this away yet, actually, because I haven't even tested it. But when you did the MMR, you couldn't. Once you've readied up, you couldn't change your killer.
Yeah, you still can't.
You still can't. That needs to be changed 100%. Because if I'm the hag and I see 4 survivors with flashlights when I go in and I can't change, I'm just going to leave.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's just an example. So it's just I don't understand why that's. I understand because the MMR thing.
Yeah. I guess it's because they added that in. They're going to be adding MMR back in really soon, and they don't want to.
Which I don't think they should. I 100% don't think they should. The way that crossplay is making these games at the moment, yeah, people are like, oh, but I've got potato teammates, but it's so much better.
Yeah, the only other bad thing I'd say about crossplay is I tried playing it on Switch, and it's impossible because I'm red ranks on Switch.
Well, you know what you should do?
Not play for a few months.
Switch.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thing is,
Switch is by far the worst version of the game.
I love the fact that friends can just pick up a Switch and just jump in and just play. It's great.
Yeah.
Crossplay is fantastic.
I play Essential all the time.
And rather than it taking half an hour to find a game on Switch, it takes seconds now. Which is great.
Yeah.
But because the Switch runs at 12 to 24 frames per second, and PC, PS4, Xbox, you're running at about 40 to 60 FPS, depending on the console and the map. There is no competition. Switch players are screwed. It's not fun to play on Switch. It's impossible to play on Switch at high ranks. It's just not possible. But I love it. I love the fact.
Can I say that you can turn crossplay off?
Yeah, but I don't want to spend 40 minutes finding.
Well, then it's your choice.
This is very true.
Why would you get it on the Switch and not have it on console?
It's very true.
That'd be a silly thing to do.
But no, crossplay is fantastic. They've done a really, really good job. I honestly, when it released, I thought. I think I put a bet. I think I said to you 5 gifted subs. They turn it off within a week. I think we had that. We didn't write it down, so it doesn't count. But
well, you did write it down in my chat. I don't remember, so that's alright.
Something like that, and they haven't, and it's just been really, really smooth. There's been basically no issues. It's been fine. They did a really good job with it.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm really, really happy with crossplay. Really happy with it. Just mainly because you can find games like that.
Yeah,
that's it.
So fast, and well done. Let's end there on that positive note. Thank you for listening or watching or whatever. Yeah. I'm going to try and push the audio version of this one out, but actually do it this time. So, yeah.
I'd say live at the moment for the next week. I'm going to be live every single day, different times. Unfortunately, because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Oh, wait, what's we doing
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
I've got to do a minibus training course for work.
Oh, okay.
And they've messed it up. So my training on Monday is 7 till 11 in the morning.
Right.
Wait,
hold that thought. Let's finish this first.
No, I've got to go to Chelmsford.
Okay.
Okay, Tuesday it's 1 till 5 in the afternoon. That messes my day up. Wednesday, when the test is 6 a.m, it starts in Chelmsford till 10. Done.
That's fun. In Chelmsford.
Yeah, so it's like a half-hour drive.
At 4 in the morning.
It's going to start with a 4.
Yeah.
On the Wednesday, it's going to start with a 5 on Monday. Yeah. I'm getting nervous. It's annoying me. And what if I don't pass? Anyway,
you'll be fine. Share your stream. Go.
Jackstallock E. JAKSTALOCKEE.
There's a link in the description.
Oh.
Yeah.
Live every day. I'm trying my best to do 7 till 10 p.m. UK time. And when I go back to work, it'll be different. 2 nights a week, and then a long one on either Saturday or Sunday. And I stream every day, usually about 5 o'clock, but it might be pushed back to 7 p.m. for the next week because I'll be streaming later. So, see you there. That's it. See you in the fall. Thank you for watching. Ooh. End on that face. Stop recording everything before they all run out. I always say that. That was a good one. That was. I'm annoyed.